I know you guys have been waiting a long time for this. We have been waiting years and years and years. We have been patient. We have seen other models come and go, and we have done nothing but hope and pray and have faith in GW. And finally, they have answered our prayers. Because yes, don't get too excited, but the old metal Ezekiel and Phoenix Lord Karandras are finally getting an update, and it is so long overdue. I am over the moon. I could not be happier, and I cannot wait to get my hands on both of the... Wait, what? Oh, wait, no. Wait, 1 second guys, 1 second. Sorry. I'm just getting some new info. No. Not Ezekiel, you say? Okay, but surely Karandras... No, not Karandras either. Okay, so who's getting a new... Oh. Guys, we're getting a new Calgar. Yep, we're getting a new Calgar. I won't lie, bit disappointed here, for a few reasons. One of them being I actually quite liked the previous Calgar model. Yes, it did come out ages and ages and ages ago. It is certainly showing its age. It's from 2020, I think, with his Victrix Honor Guard, but actually I quite liked the model. This new one that you can see on your screen now, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, I do like it. It's interesting in a few ways because it's almost a slightly odd step backwards and like a reversal of some of the Primaris focus. Calgar is back and he's taken off the armor of Heracles, which was Mark 10 Gravis, and he is now back in his armor of Antilochus, which is his old Terminator plate. So it's a bit of a weird step. But I think what GW have realised is that yes, whilst a lot of people do like Gravis and they just want Gravis, it doesn't need to replace Terminator armor, and they can have both side by side in 40k, and especially with the newly rescaled Terminators we got with this edition, they can have characters in Terminator armor alongside, hopefully, some future characters in Gravis armor. So we've seen Belial and Arjak, and now we've seen Calgar. They can all exist and be in that classic Terminator armor that we all remember them for, and they can still introduce new, cool, exciting HQs and characters that will be Gravis focused. So I'll be honest with you, I actually hope that characters like Torgaradon, if they ever get an update, actually stay in Gravis, because it gives them a niche, it gives them a cool focus, and it lets GW differentiate between characters rather than just saying, which is I think what a lot of people thought they were trying to do when Primaris came out, was Terminator armor, go away, Gravis is the new Terminator armor. And that isn't the case, it's never felt like that would work, and I'm glad that GW also seems to maybe realise that now and just is going to be able to have characters in Terminator armor and characters in Gravis armor. So it's an interesting step, but I think hopefully it is one that in the long term will be in the right direction. But yes, Calgar himself, he is back, he is in Terminator armor again. He does look very cool, I won't lie, I do like his pose. His poses over the years do tend to just flip back and forth between the same couple. My first, when I was playing when I was younger, was his old classic 2nd edition one that you can see on the screen now. I do still love that, it holds a special place in my heart, but this new one is pretty cool. I like the fact that he's got so much ornamentation and design on. I like his new gauntlets of Ultramar, the redesign of them looks really beefy and imposing. He's even got a fairly fancy tactical rock to let him see a bit more eye to eye with Guilliman when they're chatting. What this article that showed him off also mentions is that he appears to be losing his combined box and the combined unit with his Victrix Honor Guard. They are now also being repackaged and redesigned as a 3-man unit. So very much coming in line with what we've seen for other chapters like the Inner Circle Companions, the Space Wolf Headtakers, and the Sanguinary Guard. So the Victrix Honor Guard do look to be the new Ultramarine equivalent, so to speak, of the Blade Guard veterans, and I think they look great. I really love their design, I love their helmets, I think they do just look very Ultramarine-y and regal, and if I wasn't such a die-hard Dark Angels fan, these probably would be some of my favourite models in the game. I just absolutely love their helmets and that kind of winged design they have on the mouthpieces. As I mentioned, the unit is said to be 3 models, and it comes with a combination of weapon and armor options. So it says they carry mastercrafted bolt carbines, so presumably they will have some 2 damage shooting, and then they can also be built with one as a chapter champion and one as a chapter ancient. So they'll probably come with some extra buffs on top of their main rules based on whichever you decide to build. If we look at a comparable unit in the Ravenwing command squad, the buffs that the unit get for building the Ancient and the Champion in that are that you get +1 OC for the Ancient, and then the Champion gives his unit +1 to advance and charge rolls, and also lets them heroically intervene for free. So I don't know if it will be exactly the same, but that is sort of the closest equivalent I think that we've got going in the game at the moment. Interestingly, the Champion for the Ravenwing command squad is also a character, so can be given enhancements. I do wonder if that does carry over in terms of the same style of rules for the Ancient and the character. That could make for a fairly nasty unit. You could potentially have a unit of 3 of the Victrix Honor Guard with a nasty enhancement on the Champion, and also have Calgar attached to them for even more buffs. If the rules stay exactly as they are at the moment, you get the +1 to advance and charge rolls from the Champion, and then Calgar, one of his rules, allows the unit to advance and still charge with Inspiring Leader. If that all stays the same, you could be looking at a deceptively fast Marine unit for getting into melee. One thing the article doesn't say that a lot of people have noted is that they don't appear to have access to their old storm shields anymore, which is what the current models are equipped with. I think that option is likely going to be going away. Now, if you had enough of them and you had a few that you'd built up over the years, you could proxy them pretty well as Blade Guard, I think. But I do think it's almost guaranteed by what we've seen here that older Storm Shield with the Victrix Power Sword loadout is going to be going to Legends. And that will be a shame because I do quite like the design of these models. They do look pretty cool with their Storm Shields, and I think if I was an Ultramarine player and I had 3 of them, yes, I probably would proxy them as Blade Guard veterans. But certainly they look to be getting a good amount of new stuff. They've got some power swords, some power axes, they've got the banner, and they do actually look to have some genuine shooting now. So I think overall, they will probably be an improvement as a unit compared to the way you can bring them at the moment. That's not all though, because the Ultramarines, desperate for even more characters, are also getting an update to another model. The fan favourite Cato Sicarius is also getting an update. Now, Cato is the master of the Victrix Honor Guard, and he is one of the most loyal servants of the Ultramarines. He used to be the captain of the second company. I don't think he is anymore. He is just the master of the Victrix Honor Guard. He does have a slightly older model than Calgar. I think his original one was released in 4th edition, and then he got a small update in 5th or 6th, I think. I'll put them both on the screen now. They are quite cool models. I love the one with the lightning claws, but they are starting to get a bit long in the tooth. Now his new model is much more modern, it's much more intricate, and there's a lot more that's gone into the design of it. He still sports the back banner, which, as a quick aside, I am super loving how GW seems to be bringing those back lately for a lot of units, so I really like that. He also has one of the coolest helmets in the entire galaxy, mixing that Victrix mouthguard with the plumed Roman style headpiece on top. It does look amazing, and I was really hoping there would be a build option to have that helmet actually being worn by Cato, but that doesn't look to be the case. They do say there are 2 alternative head options, and they are both unhelmeted, so I think he will be holding his helmet in his arm no matter how you build him, which is a shame because, yeah, I would have loved to have seen that actually on the character, but still, I think it's going to be a really fun model to have and to build and paint and put on the table. In terms of rules, Cato currently has a Talisarian Tempest Blade, which gives him some okay attacks. He's not super amazing, but he's strength 5 with lethal hits. He does also give his unit a 6-inch scout move and also assault on their ranged weapons, so he definitely does have some uses. He's certainly not an auto-include by any stretch at the moment, I don't believe, but with this new model, if you like it, he can definitely find a place in some lists, I think. And especially if he can join the new Victrix Honor Guard unit, which I imagine he probably will be able to do, there could be some really nice combos out of that make him worth taking. So the Ultramarines are getting some really nice new models. It does pain me to say, considering how we are still waiting for, an update to Ezekiel, to Karandras, not to mention other older models like the Swarmlord for the Tyranids. But hey, it is what it is. I am happy for Ultramarines players. These new models do really look great, and I cannot wait to see some of them actually painted up and on the battlefield. But the final thing to mention before we end this video is actually even more Marines, because they also revealed in their article today one of the new Warhammer Day minis, which is a captain with jump pack. Now you may say, we've already got a captain with a jump pack, why is there a new one? And it's true, we do, but this new one is the kit that comes with a Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. Now you can equip one already based on the datasheet, but the current model kit for the captain with jump pack doesn't actually have a Thunderhammer or a relic shield. It's a relic shield, not a storm shield. I'm just correcting myself. But he doesn't have that option on the sprue. So this is going to be the first place that you can officially, without having to kit bash anything, build an official Smash Captain again, which is really cool for any of you that played through, I think it was 6th and 7th, maybe 8th, but certainly in 7th I remember, although that was actually, excuse my language, but that was Smash Fucker, the Iron Hands captain, I think, on the bike. Was that 7th or 8th? It was definitely, it was in the Iron Hands supplement, and you could make a character that was literally unkillable. Anyway, someone remind me when that was, because I played him once and it was great fun. But anyway, the Smash Captain is back, like with an official model now, when we get this model released, and there are some chapters that do actually get a lot of work out of this guy. Blood Angels, for instance, if they bring him, they can get him with a combination of enhancements and stratagems to 7 attacks at strength 12 with sustained hits 3 and 2 damage dev wounds on his Thunderhammer, which can be brutally good. I did some quick maths, and I think he alone does something like 12 or 13 damage to an Imperial Knight with that profile. And then even the Dark Angels, whilst they are not typically the melee chapter, they do have some uses for him. In the Wrath of the Rock detachment, this guy can become a strength 10, minus 3 AP, 3 damage beat stick that can hit on 2s with the Lion's Will stratagem. So even in the Dark Angels, you can make a fairly scary character out of this guy. So I love the model. I can't wait to actually get him and build him and paint him up, because personally I'm going to do him in the black of the Ravenwing. For any of you that have seen my battle reports, I do my like jump infantry, so my Inceptors and the like, in Ravenwing. I know it's not strictly fluffy, but I just think it looks cool. So I am looking forward to getting this guy, having him painted up black and join some jump pack intercessors and then have him hit the table. I cannot wait to pick him up. I also can't wait to see what Matt is probably going to do with him in his Blood Angels. And it's just going to be really, really fun. So I love the model. I think his rules are probably going to stay the same as they are now. I can't imagine they will change, which does make him potentially a fairly scary beat stick. But that's going to be it for this video. Just a relatively short one, but I'd love to know what you make of not only these new Ultramarine characters, but also the new Smash Captain. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.